2 games of the season. Let's hear from top scorer and captain Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang on his connection with the fans at the club and Mikel Arteta.
Liverpool lost their unbeaten record. Yeah, that's the reaction Arsenal fans want to see.
I try to be always ready, whatever happens. I'm a guy who try to be always ready. I love the fans here, and when I was younger, I used to watch Arsenal because they had always great players, and yeah, they won trophies as well. So I think it's really a pleasure to be here, and I'm really happy, and yeah, I think that's the feeling.
It seems like you like London as well. What have you picked up since coming to London, since coming to Arsenal? Is there any kind of words that you've picked up that you know?
My
you say?
G, fam, and
okay.
stuff, you know.
Who teaches you these words?
Yeah, the guys, the young guys. You know, they always speak like this, and it's really funny when you come from another country. It's really cool to hear how we say the slang. The slang, yeah. So yeah, I like it. He's got a lot of new ideas, and I think he learned with one of the best coach in the world. So it's always good to have an experience like this. And yeah, so he came here with passion because he played for this club before. So yeah, we are happy to have him, and yeah, that's it.
Well, yeah. Football can be kind, but it can also be cruel. And we saw against Olympiacos, you know, it looked like Arsenal were going to go through, and then at the end of the match, it wasn't to be. How do you bounce back from something like that?
Well, I think I'm a guy. I'm happy to have my family on my back. When I came back home, I saw my kids, and they talk to me and they say, "Don't worry, this can happen." So that's true. It can be cruel, but that's football. That's football, and we have to deal with it.
Someone like Eddie on the training ground?
I can, of course, and sometimes I do, but these guys have a lot of talents, and the only thing they can do is just keep improving, and yeah, they have to be focused on their job, and I think they will be great players, of course.
Well, let's focus our attention to Saturday, a London derby against West Ham. This is the start of a really important run for Arsenal now, right?
Yeah, I think now we are at this point that we can still reach the top 4. So we will try to win this game. We know the London derbies are always good to play, so we will be ready, and yeah, we have to win. We are at home, and that's it.
All positive around Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, except his contract's up next summer.
Yeah.
How important is it that they tie him down as soon as possible? And how big a decision is it for Mikel Arteta?
It's of paramount importance, Kels, because I feel that without Pierre's goals, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang's goals, I think that Arsenal will be in a real desperate position. I think that when you look at the amount of goals he scores for Arsenal, it's literally 50% of the goals. You know, we talk about somebody who had no problem in taking the number 14 shirt. That's how confident he is in respect of his goal scoring. And when you see like his 50 goals, he's coming up to 50 goals now in something like 74 games. It's an unbelievable record he's got for an Arsenal team that you have to say has not been fantastic in his time. So, you know, if you could get Arsenal's creative players to get anywhere near as hungry and as consistent as he's been, then you're talking about Arsenal be able to get in around that top 4, because he's been unbelievable. I don't know what more to say about him. He's been the most consistent Arsenal performer for a few years now.
He's been so effective, and you said he's confident enough to take the number 14 shirt, of course worn by Thierry Henry, but he's so important. Like you said, nearly 50% of Arsenal's goals are scored by Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. Only Teemu Pukki is more important in that sense to his team. And he's reached 50 goals for Arsenal, or potentially is about to reach 50 goals for Arsenal faster than anyone else, including Thierry Henry. whose shirt number he wears. He's got 49 goals in 74 appearances. So he's got a few games to play with before he reaches that Thierry Henry mark.
Let's not forget that a lot of them have come from that left-hand side where he had played under Unai Emery, and even more now with Mikel Arteta, with Lacazette and Ketia playing as a centre-forward, which is his best position, really, if you think about it. So I think he deserves even more credit for having scored all those goals, sometimes in a position that is not really his.
You know what, Kels, it's actually frightening to think of Arsenal without him at the moment, if he did, for whatever reason, decide to leave. You know, it's something that I've not actually thought deeply of. You know, you're thinking about it now because obviously his contract's finishing, but it would be, I think that would be a disastrous decision for us.
Do you think there's enough going on at Arsenal and there's enough of a plan for the future, a concrete plan for the future, to convince him to stay?
And it'll just depend on his ambitions and what he wants to win. Does he believe he can win anything at Arsenal? People will probably say he's getting to that stage of his career now where Arsenal are a few years away from maybe winning something. It will all come down to his personal feelings towards the club and what he wants to do himself, you know, talking about love in London. But when you finish playing, you want something to show for it, and you have to totally understand that he's at that age where he may want something to show for the amount of goals that he's scored consistently. So, you know, it's a worry.
A couple of weeks ago, we would have said it'd be a very comfortable day for him and for Arsenal against West Ham. However, there have been a few performances that have shown a steel, an organisation and a flexibility that maybe we hadn't seen for a long time from them.
Yeah, of course. I think, well, even if you look at both teams now, they're kind of hitting some good little vein of form. I mean, I saw West Ham play Liverpool the other week and they were unlucky. Yeah. So again, I don't think this is going to be an easy game for both teams. And if you're going to ask me who's going to win, I wouldn't know, because it's one of those. I know Arsenal won their last 2 games, so they're going to feel like they're progressing. But in this league here, anything can happen. So for me, it is going to be a difficult game.
The draws, maybe, I don't know.
Yeah. Let's see what we've got then. Starting with the early game then, we've got Liverpool up against Bournemouth. You have gone for a 3-0 win. You're not even having... But did you do that before you knew Alisson was out? Does that change anything?
No, it doesn't change anything. I still think Liverpool are going to be quite dominant in that game.
Closer for Arsenal, though, against West Ham.
Because I can see Arsenal conceding, and Mikel Antonio frightens me, and Haller, with his physical presence, could cause us a problem as well. But I think because we've got Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, why am I saying his whole name? I don't know. We probably might be able to sneak that one.
That's a big one for Watford.
Yeah, I think I've gone on that one because I know Palace have started to play a little bit better at home, going a little bit more offensive, but I think Watford, with that boost of beating Liverpool, might go there with a lot of confidence.
More worries for Norwich, despite a brief respite last weekend. A win for Southampton against Newcastle. 3-0 win for Wolves against Brighton, as we said, yet to win this calendar year. Burnley to beat Tottenham.
Yeah, I think that Burnley will cause them problems there.
What do you think?
I'm looking at it, and that's probably the one that stands out.
Yeah.
Stands out. Right.
That's the most diplomatic disagreement.
I know it's difficult to go to Burnley. It's a tough place to go. Yeah. It's a big game, really, because Spurs really need...
Tottenham have to win that one.
But Burnley do have a poor record against traditional top 6 sides. So we shall see.
We'll see how that goes.
We shall see. Then a 2-2 draw between Chelsea and Everton. You've got Manchester City to beat Manchester United 3-1. It's often won by the away team, the Manchester derby. And Leicester to beat Aston Villa 2-0 on the Monday night football. It's not a happy night for most of the teams down at the bottom, but
I feel really confident in these predictions.
Right, well, you always feel confident. And you've also been relatively low scoring in these ones as well. We'll see next week how very deep against Liverpool, but again, when they got the win against Southampton, which was hugely significant in terms of their potentially staying in the Premier League, they went much more attacking, West Ham. It's just it doesn't feel very David Moyes-like.
No, you're right, but maybe the confidence they gained from that game at Liverpool, they used that at home against Southampton. In the game, really, they had to win. Had they lost that one, they would have been in big trouble. And Mikel Antonio and Sebastian Haller played up front together, which I think I always wondered why that was never done before. Jared Bowen had that really, really goal that he took so well, and that would do a lot of good as well for his confidence. But I thought they played well. They were also well organised, even if Southampton came back into the game. But it was a very positive performance overall. I think that they will use on Saturday as well.
You know what it was as well, Julian, is when you look at someone like Haller, with what he does and the kind of player he is, he needs bodies around him. And now you're seeing with Bowen around him, Mikel Antonio is a vital cog in that team. You can see, again, Haller winning that ball. You know, then it goes to in around 4 hours, and Mikel Arteta is making the run. David Moyes wasn't doing that before. He's been very negative. He didn't let these players off the leash. They seemed like they had more to give. And when you watch that game in particular, after coming off of a really good game against Liverpool, which they took a lot of confidence from, they played very well. You've got to support a big man like that. And then he showed. He scored a goal, and he was very integral in most of the other stuff that was going on.
Well, let's widen this West Ham chat out into a conversation about the relegation battle. But before we get the guys' thoughts, let's hear from the managers involved in the basement battle.